loyal. I'll say
Yeah.
that. We're live. I
Yes,
love it.
sir.
This is my first time on StreamYard, just so you
Really?
know.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I came home and I figured StreamYard out within like an hour and a half.
Wow.
I,
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
have
cool.
I have other paranormal investigator friends that do live streams,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, StreamYard. Like I normally Twitch on Tuesday nights from 9 to 11.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, we have our Twitch channel. It's pretty good. Like we'll have some people in there. Hi there.
Daddy.
Who's
Say hi.
that?
That's my youngest, Ellie.
Hi.
My mom, my mommy said that my painting clients are on you. They're saying.
Oh, okay.
Old Peyton.
Yeah, Peyton, that's right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love her.
Yeah. I've really not met her. Tammy works with her all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, no. Peyton's a sweetheart. She's one of our best friends.
Right.
I always go to her for haircuts before filming an episode for the
Right.
show. But she's on
Right.
maternity leave, so I got to find someone to
Right.
facilitate the haircuts before the next investigation goes down, you know?
Right. Right.
My sister is.
Hey, it's time we go. I'm live right now. Okay.
This is the best start to a live stream I've ever been a part of.
My sister's.
Oh, they love her on here. They really
Daddy.
do. Honey,
My sister's on your shirt. My sister.
Okay. Good night.
It's
Sorry about
bedtime.
that.
It's bedtime, babies.
Hey, hey. Let's be good. Where was that at? She breaks my concentration. Uh, welcome everybody to Country Boy Conversation. This is Chris, and I'm with Danny Strakel of
Yes.
Spirit Walk for Paranormal.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Chris. I really appreciate it, man.
I'm glad I finally, I got sick the first time we supposed to have it, and then
Yeah.
and then I kind of took a break for a little bit because I was just like burnt out, doing shows and stuff. I don't know how you do it because you're like super busy.
Oh God. If you see me just head down on the microphone, yeah. Doing YouTube is really, really hard, especially on top of like running a business where I do photography. On top of that, and then with our new endeavor, which is bringing the tours to town. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
It's a really hectic schedule, and a lot of people expect to see a new investigation every single week.
Yeah.
And I'm a one-man band doing everything. So not only am I like working on client work, I'm working on Spirit Walk and Dark Hills Media, which is my company's you know promotional stuff, and then running 3 to 4 accounts across multiple platforms, like making Instagram reels, TikToks, YouTube shorts. It's a lot. So
Yeah.
having some free time today, even though I had 2 meetings earlier today,
Hmm.
this is technically my day off, and
Right.
I had 2 meetings with some new merchandise that we're going to be doing for Spirit Walk, adding some new places onto the mystery tours that we're going to be bringing, and now it's podcast time. So the day off is a day on.
Right. Right. Tell us how'd you get started in all this, Danny?
Um, so we'll have to like turn the clock way back.
Hmm.
So when I was around, I want to say like 4 or 5 years old, um, I was at my grandparents' house. My brother's a couple years younger than me. He was with me too, but I was at my grandparents' house, and my mom told me the story growing up of where um I was taking a nap, or I was supposed to be taking a nap in the spare room across from my grandparents' bedroom. And my grandparents lived in an older house, and I was talking to someone, and my mom walked in the room, and there was a chair in the room, and she was like, "Who are you talking to?" I said, talking to the lady in the chair."
Oh man.
And there's no lady there, Chris.
Oh man.
So she's like, "Well, what does this woman look like?" And I ended up describing my great grandmother, who was no longer with us, but that was her chair, and she would sit in that chair all the time. And you know how kids are more like susceptible to paranormal phenomena.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that was like my earliest stage of being into the paranormal, and then a little bit older. I think I was in like fourth or fifth grade. I was really into like the Loch Ness monster and the lore that was behind the Loch Ness, and so I guess I've always been into the strange and the macabre and the unknown.
Mhm.
So from that point on, it was just spirits, aliens, whatever. I'm a big alternative music person, um, but it kind of fell off in my teenage years. You know how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, yeah.
You go off and you start a band, and you want to be in a rock band, and you want your music to be heard. So I was very musically focused on having a band with my little brother Mike. He was the drummer for our group, and we played music. We did shows. We did like small tours here and there, like little weekenders and things.
Uh,
And
uh,
then something tragic happened. Uh, it was, oh my god, I can't. I'm trying to remember the exact date. April 14th, 2010.
mhm.
My mom died in a house fire.
Oh
And,
man. Sorry to
yeah,
hear about that.
it's okay. Years ago, I probably would still be, upset about it. Still hurts, but it's easier to talk about now,
Right, right.
So, so she was in a house fire, unfortunately lost her life. I lived in a house across the street, witnessed the whole thing. It kind of like messed me up for a while. And
Oh, I can
then
imagine. Yeah.
yeah, it was detrimental to not only like my mental health, but like to the people around me. Like we were a strong, tight knit community, and like the loss of my mom was like a big factor in the whole thing.
Mm.
So that like really affected me. And then a few years later, in 2015, the anniversary just happened. My best friend Tyler Henry, he ended up passing away from a heart attack at 27.
Oh
And
wow.
he it was known that he had heart issues and everything. Um but one day after leaving the gym, he felt something was wrong. He pulled off the side of the road and lost his life, unfortunately.
Oh man.
And so between 2010 and 2015, life was a really big struggle for me. And the months that followed Tyler's death, some really, really strange things started happening in my life. And like things would just randomly disappear from my office, similar to what I'm in now, but at my old house. Things would just like randomly disappear, and then when I would need them, they would just like reappear. Um,
Wow.
the house that I lived in was built in the 20s. It was an old coal mining town kind of house, and I knew that there was a child spirit in that house. Me and my wife, we both saw the apparition of like a little boy in our house, and I used to have action figures of I don't know if anyone who's going to watch this knows what Gundam Wing is, but Gundam Wing, they're like these giant. It's like Transformers, but a lot cooler, and
Mhm.
the people control them from the inside. Well, I used to have Gundam Wing action figures like on display shelves in my office, and those things would fly off the shelves in the middle of the night, no explanation for it. And then one day, I was having kind of a hard day, and I went and visited my mom's gravesite up It's behind the mall in Morgantown, the cemetery up there, Beverly Hills, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I go up there and I'm having a rough day, and I'm just like, Mom, I just need a sign, like things are kind of rough. I don't know what to do. If I'm going in the right direction, can you just please give me a sign? Let me know that I'm being looked after.
Yeah.
And so, in the living room of my house, I had those like hang on the wall display shelves, enough that they could like hold books and trinkets and things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was this one book. It's called the Book of Yahweh. It's the book of the universe. And I came home, and that book was perfectly placed in the recliner in front of it. And I just want to let you know that there's like little wooden boxes and trinkets and like small things that if anything were to move that book and make it fall over, they'd go all over the floor.
Yeah. You'd have trinkets laying everywhere. Yeah.
And I still have the wooden boxes, like the small wooden boxes that I keep like interesting coins in and things.
Yeah.
I still have those boxes and I still have the book. They're not on the same shelf together, but I still have them. And I was like, well, this is really strange. So I got up on the recliner because I'm vertically challenged. I'm very short, not so short, but I'm short.
I
So I
know.
got up.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, so so I got up on the recliner, and I looked on the shelf, and there was the outline of dust of where the book would have been. So the book was physically picked up and placed in the chair with the cover just perfectly, and even like the bookmark, a couple of things that I had inside the book didn't fall out. That book was physically picked up, moved, and put in the recliner. And
Whoa.
it was the strangest occurrence that I could think of, and I was like, all right, so mom knows where she's around. I know things are gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So fast forward to, I think it's a year later. I think it's it's 2017. Um, Kendall Perkinson of Chromatic Media teams up with Sarah James McLaughlin and Jeffrey Fuller to create the podcast known at the time then was Merritt and Karen, the WVU co-ed murders.
Mm-hmm.
And now the podcast is under Appalachian Mysteria, which is the name of the podcast, and they do true crime in Appalachia.
Yeah.
So their podcast comes out, and the story of Merritt and Karen, it's reintroduced into my brain. I had heard the stories growing up. My dad had always told me about the co-eds who got murdered, and I had already been so interested in the paranormal, and I was researching on how certain devices work, what makes them tick, how do other investigators use them during investigations, and how we can contribute using multiple devices, whether it be audio, electromagnetic, visual, whether it be infrared or full spectrum. And I just, I I don't know, something clicked in my head, and I just wanted to investigate the WVU co-ed murder case from a paranormal standpoint because it's only been investigated from a logistical standpoint where it's police investigations and Kendall and Sarah and Jeff's research was very boots on the ground, very factual, and it reminded me a lot of John Keel, who wrote the Mothman Prophecies. It reminded me a lot of his work, Kendall's work combined. Uh, it wasn't so much paranormally based, but just true crime, very factual work. And so I wanted to bring a different element to the table and investigate the co-ed murders from that standpoint. And that's really what set me into Spirit Walk. Spirit Walk Paranormal was founded in November of 2017 after the release of the co-ed murder podcast. And so that's how it really came to be.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, man. It's a little crazy how the whole story begins, and it's been 6 years, and
Right.
it's only getting crazier as the years go by.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, this is a pretty haunted place, right? Morgantown's pretty a lot of haunted places here.
Oh, it's one of the most haunted locations that people don't realize. Um, Not to give away too much,
Hmm.
before we started, I have partnered with Mountaineer Excursions, which is a new tourism business here in Morgantown, and they're going to be offering food tours, drinking tours, but we're also offering the Morgantown Mystery Tour, which delves into the ghost stories of the downtown WVU campus, as well as some unsolved murders, unsolved mysteries, and my own personal paranormal investigations in the buildings in the downtown area. And it's it's quite absurd how no one talks about it. It's really interesting to me, like, people talk about certain buildings and places, but no one ever goes into those and or hasn't been able to get access to those buildings. I know that I'm the first paranormal investigator to investigate the Morgantown Public Library. I'm also the first paranormal investigator to investigate Morgantown Flower and Feed at the restaurant in the Wharf District. Um, there's also Retrotique. That's how it was known back in the day. It's now Morgantown Art Party. It's on Walnut. And
Hmm.
then on the corner of Walnut and High Street, there's Morgantown Art Bar. I've also been the only paranormal investigator to investigate those locations as well. And each time that I go to a new location, I keep finding out more and more information about the town and all of the seedy underbelly that's like lies within it.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I mean, the town itself, man. The co-ed murder story for me starts at the Metropolitan Theater.
Hmm.
It So the co-eds were last seen on January 18th, 1970, together at the Metropolitan Theater. They went to go see the movie Oliver, and after the movie was over, they decided to walk up High Street, take a left onto Willie, and they were hitchhiking. They were thumbing to get back to their dorms, and they got picked up and obviously never made it back to their dorms. And
Wow.
there was back in the day, there was a curfew at WVU for women specifically. 11 p.m. You had to be in no later, or there was a police missing persons report put in about 10 or 15 minutes after curfew. Merritt and Karen,
Wow.
they were known to party and maybe smoke a little unmentionables.
Right. Right.
Um, but they were always on time for curfew. Like, they would go out and they would have fun, but they would always be home in time for curfew. So
Yeah.
when they didn't show up, that missing persons report was put in, and there was police searches. The National Guard was called in. Items that they had: pocketbook, purse, lipstick, prescriptions, glasses. They were all found along a road. I'm not gonna say where because the air like it's kind of heading towards Grafton, but not really. Goshen area. I don't want to
Right.
give it.
Right.
I don't want to give too much away because I don't want a ton of people going out to this area.
Right. Right.
But
I know. I know what road you're talking about, and that's a long ways from where they started out.
yeah,
That's
and
a good way.
we can talk about it afterwards too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The where their items were found and everything, it was kind of in the general area where well, excuse me, I'm not going to ruin the story.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So
I understand.
over the course of 3 months, all this crazy stuff is coming up. There's cryptic letters coming from a psychic medium in Cumberland, Maryland, and he
Oh
didn't sign
wow.
his name. He signed the letters with a triangle, and he directed these letters to the Morgantown Police Department. Did you know about that?
No, I was just getting ready to say this is stuff I have not heard yet.
Oh, so there was a psychic medium from Cumberland, which no one knew at the time.
Uh,
He sent some cryptic letters to the police department that said, "I know where the bodies are located. They are 25 plus 1 miles from the southernmost tip of Morgantown. This will lead you into a wooded forest land. Um, go 1 mile in, and there's the bodies. Signed
wow,
not by a name, but a triangle."
wow,
And there was two more letters that came after that. In the second letter, it said pretty much the same thing as the first, but there was another tagline, I like to call it. It said, "The animals are now on the move," suggesting
wow.
that it's warming up and they might be prone to eating the body away.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So it turns out that this psychic medium, he had nothing to do with the murders. He had gotten these visions and he wanted to help the police. And where the bodies actually were, it wasn't 26 miles away. It was more like 6 or 7. And they were found off of a dirt road off of Goshen Road. And really interesting story behind this road in particular.
Yeah.
So on the day of the bodies being discovered, there was a 15-year-old boy. He was showing the National Guards around the area, and I met this guy a couple of years ago. His name is
Mm-hmm.
Dave Campbell. Dave is much older now, and he just remembers the day like it was yesterday. He was
Mm-hmm.
showing the National Guard around the dirt road, and he was showing the ponds on the left side of the road. Nothing was there. And then he said they went to the ponds on the right side of the road, and then they had to like come down a hill. And as he was leading the National Guards around, one of the National Guards was like, "That looks like a leg bone sticking out." And there were the bodies of Merritt and Karen.
Wow.
When they were found fully clothed. Nothing, no assaults were put on them or like done to them or anything. But they were found decapitated, and their heads were never found.
That's what I always heard too.
Yeah, so
That's how it was explained to me. Yeah.
that's very true. They were decapitated, and their heads were never found.
Wow.
And so I've been investigating out at the body site. Is what I've coined the term. It's the body site, the co-ed body site, for the past 6 years. And the past few times that I've been out there, some really crazy stuff has not only been captured through evidence and everything, but just meeting all these people who are involved, and then working with Kendall from Mysteria, working with them on getting the correct information, having new questions to ask every time that we go out there. And this is crazy. So
Yeah.
after the day that we met Dave Campbell, it was in February, and it was really, really cold, and I did not want to go out to the body site and investigate that night. So I said, "Dave, could we come back in like a couple of months, and could you take us out there and show us exactly where the bodies were?" So we went out on the 52nd anniversary of when their bodies were discovered.
Oh wow.
52 years to the day when Dave was there and he saw the co-eds. And he shows us exactly where they were. He describes the scene for us. And then later that night, we start our investigation. Dave isn't with us. It's me, Marcus, and our good friend Tim Foreman, who is a neighbor of Dave. Tim is into the paranormal, and he's actually the one who facilitated us meeting Dave. So just want to give a quick shout out and credit to Tim Foreman there.
Yeah.
So we go out I have my EMF detector, and I set my EMF detector on the ground in the very close or general very close area of where the bodies were. And I'm talking to Marcus, just trying to make sure our infrared booster light is on, and I'm about to start like a little intro of like, "Hey, we're here at the body site," and I feel like it always happens when I'm just like, "Oh, hey, we're here," trying to do an intro. Something happens. The EMF detector goes off. High spikes of EMF are detected in the middle of the woods. There's no power lines over top of us, and
Uh,
there's nothing that should make these this EMF detector go off like it did.
right.
So I'm sitting there, I'm asking questions. I was like, if that's you, can you walk over and can you make it spike into the red? And as soon as I said the word red, that thing lit up like very high EMF spikes. I'm talking anywhere between 7 milligauss to like 15 milligauss. Just crazy, crazy high spikes.
Wow.
And later that night, we also captured shadow figures. Um, they were captured on both my infrared camera and full spectrum camera, disembodied voices, and it, it just turned. It was a turning point in the case because not only did we meet someone who was there when the bodies were discovered, it actually made Dave more interested in the case and wanting to solve. You know, where are their heads and how can we get their heads back to them?
Right.
I don't know if we're ever going to be able to do it, Chris. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to find the location of their heads. We do have a couple of theories in the works um, that we need to investigate further. It's going to take a lot of manpower and maybe a good chunk of change.
Right.
Uh, if it can happen, I'm all in for it. There's a lot of people who think that they'll never be found,
Right.
and
I just,
that's possible. If there's a will, there's a way. You know.
right. I just want to tell everybody right now, if you want to see, because I watched your videos on this West Virginia co-ed murders. If you guys want to see this, go to Spirit Walk Paranormal on YouTube. He has like a ton of videos. Like you do series, right? Right, Danny?
Series?
Yeah, you guys do like a series, like you do 1, 2, 3 parts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the WVU co-ed series, which is kind of like a jumbled mess. I wish I mean I wish that I would have when I first started, I I thought it was just gonna be like a we go out there, we find a couple things, and then that was it. And then it turned into something else. And I feel like at one point later down the road, I'm gonna turn it into a documentary. But for now, it's just a series going on right now. I don't know when it's gonna end. It might not ever end. Um, and, and then we also have the Mount Morris Mystery House series, which is a location that no one can investigate because it's a residential home. Um, but I can talk about that case if you'd like, because that was probably our most extensive case next to the
Go
co-ed
ahead.
murders.
Go ahead, Danny. Whatever you want to bring up, you know.
So, the Mount Morris Mystery House is it's a strange case how it started. In the fall of 2020, I was contacted by a family in a residential home in southwestern Pennsylvania. Mount Morris, it's in the title. I can say it in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, and um, they were like, "Hey, we're experiencing some really really crazy things happening at our house. Our twin daughters are seeing a shadow man by their window on the second floor. Our boys, they don't want to sleep in their room.
Oh man.
Just a lot of things are happening." And we were referred by somewhat of a mutual friend because they contacted me on my personal Facebook, which was like really really strange. Like most people would be like, "Oh, we'll reach out to your official Spirit Walk
Yeah. Yeah.
Facebook page." No, they contacted me on my personal Facebook page, and I was like, okay, this seems like a little bit more serious. I'm a very middle of the road investigator when it comes to investigating. Like, I want to believe your story, but also I want to, you know, go from a logistic standpoint, because I've
Yeah.
done residential cases before, and people are claiming crazy things are happening in their house, and we go in there, and maybe it just wasn't active for us, but we really couldn't give them any answers. Well, they show us in this house, and they're giving us a tour, and they're like, well, this is a hot spot on the first floor, and then it takes us to the second floor, and they show us the boys room with like this weird creepy doll in the closet,
Oh
and then they
man.
take us over to the twins room where the girls had seen like a shadow figure man in their window. And in the twins room there's a pull down ladder that leads to the attic, and up the ladder we go into the attic, and it's kind of like a finished it's kind of a finished floor. It's just like plywood down in like the main part, but then off to the right there's no floors, and it's just rafter beams. So we have to like walk on rafter beams over to this next section, and then I have to get on my belly. I have to put my arms straight out in front of me and like pull myself in to this secret room.
Oh
And
wow.
there's a it's got to be like 8 feet tall. When you get in there, it's 8 feet. It's like a four-sided diamond shape. There was old doily curtains, like those, like what those old doily curtains look like
The
and stuff.
crochet looking things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's old doily curtains in the secret room, but there's no windows. They're
That's
just
weird.
they're just nailed to the wood. It's like it's just nailed to this. And
That's
then there's a
weird.
dumbwaiter that led to somewhere else in the house. The dumbwaiter had been closed off, but there was definitely the dumbwaiter there because there was a pulley system that led over to the dumbwaiter.
Yeah, the thing that you used to use to like
Yeah.
food and stuff like that or whatever,
Yeah.
you know,
So
laundry.
there's this freaky, excuse my language, but there's this freaky ass secret room in this house, and we're getting like high EMF spikes in this place. It's it was one of the weirdest experiences being in that room, and I only went in that room one other time on the next investigation. It was the creepiest place.
Wow.
So after they get done showing me the house, and I talked to the kids about like what the kids had seen, I had asked Tyler and Farah, the owners of the house, I said, can you please take the kids? Can you take them to your grandparents? It would be so, like, I don't want anything to happen while we're investigating.
Right.
No, this is a pure safety thing. Just, can you take them to their grandparents or somewhere else? So their grandparents, they take them to their grandparents, and it's time for us to start our night investigation. So I collect my gear, and I have my gear ready, and I told Nick, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go do a solo. Nick was my camera operator at the time. I'm gonna go do a solo, and I'm gonna go up to the twins room where this like shadow man was seen. So I grab my gear, have my infrared camera in this hand, and the gear in this one, and I start walking up the steps, and I get up into the room, and I set some gear down, and we already had a full spectrum camera rolling up there with a couple of EMF pods that would light up blue if anything got near it. So I set my gear down, and I go to turn the camera towards me to like do a little intro, kind of like co-ed murder vibes.
Right.
I turn the camera around, and I want to say, hey, I'm in the twins room. I just wanted, for documentation purposes, letting people know where I was, what I was doing. But in that moment, from dropping the gear on, like putting the gear on the floor, to me turning the camera around, two disembodied voices were captured. The same time, a faceless child was captured, breaching my infrared shadow, and it ducked inhumanly fast down. Like,
Oh man.
this Chris, I've never seen something move so fast, like inhumanly fast. Like, like something
Go
that you can't see. Like, if it wasn't captured and it wasn't documented, you'd probably think I was nuts.
on.
Um, this thing was captured, and then after it ducks down, I hear this disembodied moan, like, kind of like it freaked me out. And I heard the disembodied moan. I didn't hear the two voices. I didn't see the child because it was behind me, but I heard this weird disembodied moan. And I go, what the was that?
Yeah,
It
right.
scared the hell out of me. And that's probably like how the series kept going. Like there were so many weird paranormal things happening, things that I just can't explain happening in that house. We ended up investigating that house 3 more times, and then even on a day that, like, we weren't really I mean, we did investigate, we investigated outside, so, like, 5 investigations. We ended up digging for human remains outside because there was a spirit had told us that her remains and her children's remains were on the property.
Oh, wow.
Um, we were waiting on, ground penetrating radar to come and survey the area because that night we didn't find any human remains. We did find some remains. There was a dog.
Right.
Sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were waiting on a ground penetrating radar, and then things just kind of like hard times fell on the family, and I haven't been able to go back since. But I spent like a year and a half of my life focused on that house, and that's if you go to the Spirit Walk Paranormal YouTube channel, like the first 19 videos in like 18 episodes, I think there's like 2 trailers, so like 21 videos. It's just the Mount Morris Mystery House.
Wow.
I was so dedicated to figuring out the mysteries. And for anyone watching, if you want to go check it out, this case goes deeper than just a faceless child. There's some crazy information that we find out. Even with us like working with Greene County Historical Society up in Waynesburg, PA, to figure out like who owned the land prior to the house even being built, going through records and things like that. We tried to document literally every aspect of the investigation, and that's why it's kind of so long. You have to literally binge watch it to watch it.
I got a question here from one of the people. This is Amber from Amber's Peril World. She said, "Do you think the spirit there caused you to be so focused on the house?"
It's a possibility. I think the female spirit who we believe that we were in contact with, I believe that she wanted us to find out more. She wanted us to find those remains, and I wish we could have kept digging further.
Yeah.
Um, it's one of the things I always regret is not being able to get that ground penetrating radar out there sooner. Um, and then just things falling apart. I mean, I feel like, Chris, I feel like we were so close to
Right.
literally having this female spirit entity tell us exactly like we were in the right vicinity. We were there at the right time in the right place.
Hmm.
And if we would have had that ground penetrating radar, maybe we could have got confirmation of like one, where the bodies were. Um, it it blows my mind that while we were digging, we found the side of a revolver about 3.5 to 4 feet deep,
Hmm.
and that could have been the murder weapon.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean,
Yeah, man.
that's awesome though in a way, you know. Amber said, let's see what she said.
Were you able to help her cross over or reconnect with her children? I don't think she's going to be able to cross over. Not until one, that house is torn down and her remains are found. And I think her children made themselves known. I think she's stuck there with her children.
until someone finds the
Yeah.
body.
It
Wow.
honestly, from what we had learned through our investigations, um, she was a prostitute, and she had children that were there with her in her house. She had 2 children,
Hmm.
and across the street was the prostitution house. Um, there's a name that they call that area. They called it Horse Corner. That's what it was
Oh,
known as back in
oh
the
wow.
day. And that the house across the street was actually the prostitution house. And we found all of this out during our paranormal investigations and our research. Follow up. Do you think that spirit shut you down? You learned enough. I will get to that. So, there's a few things that happened leading up to us not going back there and not being able to go back there. Um, on our third investigation, I invited Steve Hummel. Um, he was a member of Paranormal Quest, but he also owns Archive of the Afterlife in currently Cameron, West Virginia, but it was in Moundsville. Um, I invited Steve down because he has a few more years of experience in the paranormal field down, and I thought at the time that there was a object in the house that would that was causing the haunting. Turns out it wasn't, but I mean, it might have been part of it. I wanted Steve to come down and remove the doll from the house and take it back to his museum. During Steve's time there with us, we were doing a live stream on Facebook, which I don't normally do during investigations, but the house is so damn haunted. I just wanted other people to experience what was going on, like while we were filming for the show.
Wow.
So we're in the twins room again, and there's me, my buddy Marcus, Steve, his coworker Victoria, and 2 camera operators with us, helping us film the show. And there's a knock at the door because we had to close the bedroom door. There's like a thump, just like a loud knock at the door. So I walk over, I open the door, and there's nothing there. And there's like an extreme cold coming from the hallway. So we walk out in the hallway. My EMF detector is just going berserk. There's just high EMF spikes everywhere. Even though we've done multiple sweeps of the upstairs hallway, nothing should be making this thing go off. So my buddy Marcus, he's in front of me, and then Steve's to the left of me, and we're over by the boys' room. And Marcus says, "Did something happen at the top of the stairs?" Immediately after, Steve says, "Did somebody fall?" And then there's this like inhuman running again with this like inhuman movement. It sounded like just not long strides, just like a drum roll of inhuman running. And then I turn and I see it run up to Steve, and it's this black mass of something. It's not like a human shape. It's not a humanoid shape. It's just a shape that you can't describe almost. And
Wow.
it ran up and it hit Steve in his side, and like you could hear the impact on his jacket.
Oh wow.
And I jumped, Chris, I swear, I jumped like 3-4 feet back. I
I
said,
guarantee it.
"Oh shit!" And
Right.
I backed up, and that was probably like it, and that was just one instance of how messed up this house is. The more that we got sucked into this house, the fourth investigation, it was me, Marcus, camera operator Tyler and Farah, and then Tyler and Farah had a friend of theirs in the house. Now the friend of theirs, he didn't want to be on camera at the time. He was kind of going through a rough spot in his life, and we just wanted to respect his wishes. Like, hey man, you don't want to be on camera, totally cool.
Yeah.
we just want to let you know that we're going to be doing a cleansing ritual in the house. So we're in the twins' room again, and we form a circle. I have the materials for this cleansing ritual, and I'm facilitating the ritual. And Tyler and Farrah's friend is downstairs, directly below us. And we asked him if he wanted to just like be outside of the circle, and he said no. I'll just stay downstairs. And I was like, okay. So we do this ritual, and after the ritual's done, we go downstairs, and there's a literal slash mark, like probably like 2 fingers wide down his back. And this guy was like
Oh.
he was a bigger fella.
Uh-huh.
Like there's no way, like if he tried to scratch his back, like it would be at an angle, and it wouldn't be so thick. Tyler and Farrah and me and my crew were all in the same room. There was no one else in that house. He was downstairs.
Wow.
So he got marked by something. A couple of months later, I get a text message from Tyler, the owner of the house. And he said, hey, man, he's dead. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, something happened. He was like an hour and a half away from home. It was super late in the morning. He laid down in the middle of the road and got hit by a car.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
So I don't know what happened that would cause him. Well, I have no. It messed me up for months.
Oh,
Because
sure.
whatever was in that house, I think affected him more than whatever he was dealing with in his life. Or maybe I know that he was in recovery, and I don't know if maybe he got messed up or something. But Chris, it messed me up
Oh, I'm
bad.
sure. I mean,
I didn't want to investigate anymore. I thought that we had done something to cause this, and it really messed me up.
oh
Like,
yeah, I could imagine. Yeah.
so I kind of just put it on the back burner for a while before reworking on the case and going back and then doing our final investigation and digging for remains before we weren't able to go back there.
Carson
It,
want to know what do you do for protection before, during, and upon leaving? Your
uh,
location.
we always do. People can call us basic. We do sage. It's always nice to have sage, spiritual cleansing. I do carry some holy water. Not blessed by a priest, but by a warlock. Don't know if that really makes a difference or not, but seems to help. And Palo Santo. Palo Santo is probably like my favorite cleansing material to use. So I do use a lot of Palo Santo during, after. If you watch some of our episodes, we've definitely used Palo Santo or like a Palo Santo like shavings, which is it's more like a incense more than a burning stick. But we do use that a lot to ward off even like more negative things. We've used like yellow sulfur and things like that to, I don't know, make these like super negative things go away. Because I mean, yeah, sage and Palo Santo, it's you're just pushing negative energy away.
Mm-hmm.
The harder stuff that kind of smells bad, like we're really trying to push something negative away. Yellow sulfur really does the trick. And a lot of people don't talk about it, man. A lot of people don't talk about yellow sulfur enough.
Right.
It stinks like hell, but people don't use it. People see just sage, yellow
Yeah.
sulfur. Get rid of those demons.
Right.
What's the
Everyone.
scariest? What's the
Yeah.
scariest moment? I want to say that where I saw that weird mass thing attack Steve Hummel.
Yeah,
That's the scariest moment.
That would be creepy.
Just imagine this like weird, like I can't even do it with my shirt, man. It's just like this weird thing that was just moving, and it just hits your friend. Just runs up to him and it just hits your friend. Steven,
Oh my god!
if you watch one of the Mount Morris episodes,
Uh-huh.
there's an interview with Steve Hummel that talks about his experience, like getting hit by this thing. It's so creepy to hear it from his side and then to like go back and like watch the footage. We had I think 6 cameras rolling. Not one camera caught this black mass thing, even though we all saw it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it had to do something with infrared cameras, full spectrum, regular cameras. This thing could not be seen. And I don't know why, because we all saw this thing hit Steve.
Wow. Any bucket list location for you?
Weston, Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Yeah, I've been by it, but never in it. I've been by it. It's a beautiful place on the outside.
I've been in it, but not far enough. And see, Chris, this is what I was telling you about, dude. This is what I was telling you about.
Yeah, you told me. I
was like, I gotta watch the dang thing. My 30-minute time limit went up. See, it's not ghosts. Just so y'all know, it's not ghosts. It's my camera and its stupid time limit. Yeah, Trans-Allegheny would be dope. Moundsville Pen, that'd be really cool location to go.
I think Amber was just there, honestly.
Waverly Hills.
Waverly Hills. I've heard about that place.
Yeah, it's down in Louisville. Yeah, Waverly Hills Sanatorium would be freaking crazy. I really want to get into Trans-Allegheny, but man, it's just so expensive, and people keep asking us to go there, and I was just like, do you want to pay the bill for it? It's like $1,500 for like
crazy
for 10 hours of filming.
Wow.
It normally takes us a solid 18 hours to get B-roll, film interviews, do the investigation, get lunch before the investigation.
Right.
Yeah, the time limit thing is crazy down there. Same with Moundsville's like a little bit more affordable, but a lot of our locations right now, they're in like the $500 and under range.
Yeah. Yeah, that's expensive. That's really expensive. Damn.
Yeah, you wouldn't think ghost hunting, hunting as my dad calls it. My dad calls it ghost hunting. I call it paranormal investigating. You wouldn't think ghost hunting's so dang expensive. I'm like, well, you don't know, my dude. You don't know. It's an expensive hobby.
What? Leia said, "What's the funniest answer on assessing you've ever got?"
Oh God, what is the funniest answer on a session we've got? Honestly, it might take me a minute to think of this because we've just been talking about the scariest stuff.
Right.
The funniest. Oh, well, there was this one investigation where we were in the basement of a business in Morgantown, and we had met this spirit. We don't know her actual name, but she told us the first initial of her name, which was D, and we gave her the name Sweet D. And Sweet D loves a party. And so, like, we were using dowsing rods and an EMF detector, and the EMF detector's going off. Dowsing rods are answering our questions, right for yes, X for no. And Sweet D likes to party, and Sweet D loves rock music. So we asked her a question about, like, certain records that would play. It was like, what's your favorite type of music? And we would say, like, this genre or this band. And then we'd asked, like, we'd asked something about a certain band, and it just she was pumped about whatever band we said or what genre we said, and that dowsing rod just kept spinning.
That's crazy.
So,
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if that's the funniest thing, but it's definitely the cutest and fun thing I think that's ever happened during an investigation.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, Waverly Hills is supposed to be pretty crazy too, ain't it?
Yeah, it's crazy big. I think it's not as big as Trans Allegheny, but if not, I mean, it's huge.
Oh yeah, I seen this one today. Leia said, see here, computer's running slow tonight. Danny, how'd it feel when you laid in that body cooler at the hospital on College Hill? That was crazy.
It was relaxing as hell, honestly. It
That's
was
the one where they had the big door that like lifted up, right? And he was laying down in that.
yeah, that's the body cooler.
Wow.
It was relaxing. I kind of wish I would have asked Marcus to close it. He did ask to close it, and I was like, hell no. But I honestly regret him not closing it. My only fear is getting trapped in it. So
Yeah.
that's why I didn't have him close it. But
Yeah.
it was really relaxing. A little bit. A little nerve-wracking at first. I was like,
Uh-huh.
I'm in a freaking body cooler right now. Someone dead has laid right here. Multiple dead people have laid right here where I'm laying. And it kind of freaked me out a little bit, but it was honestly like really calming after a while.
That's crazy. Amber, what did Amber say here?
That's honestly my favorite location to investigate.
Amber said on a spirit box session she had a man to ask her if she wanted a hit. She said well, he was on drugs, and then said, "Jump in the bushes, cops are coming."
Oh my god! Did the cops show up? That's what I want to know.
That is crazy. Yeah, I watched another video where you guys was in Salem. That was pretty crazy, and that it was a cemetery, wasn't it?
Oh
Cemetery.
yeah, it's the cemetery above Flinderation Tunnel. Have you ever been down there?
I've never been down to Salem.
Flinderation Tunnel is I think it's just a couple of miles outside of Salem. If you're coming from Clarksburg, you'll definitely hit Flinderation before Salem.
I've had to
It's
pass this on 50, right? It'd be on 50.
yeah, oh
Y'all
yeah, it's
50
on.
going out
It's
there?
dude,
Yeah.
it's literally right off the road. So
Okay.
one road, it's the stop before or the turn off before. You get off and you take this like creepy road. It's concrete. It's not like pavement how it normally is. It's like a concrete road
Uh huh.
covered in like grass and I mean whatever time of year it's just covered with stuff, and it leads you up to the cemetery. And then if you're on 50, the next stop is Flinderation Road, and Flinderation Tunnel is 1,086 feet long. It's a huge tunnel, and
Wow.
my first experience with it was in March of 2018. And me and my buddy Zach, who was on SWP at the time, we were on our way down to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, to investigate some places down there. We pulled off the road, we parked at the spot, and then we walked up to the tunnel. And I was like, Zach, I don't know if this is the tunnel. I mean, it says it is, because when you first walk up to it from from your parking spot and you're walking up to it, the tunnel entrance and exit, it looks like it's maybe like 20 feet long. But the closer that you get to the tunnel, the exit gets smaller and smaller and
Oh wow.
smaller. And I was like, okay, this is this is definitely the tunnel. And if you go onto our channel, when I first started Spirit Walk, I had another YouTube channel. I don't use it anymore, but the episodes are still up. The channel was called Art House Media WV. This is before I created Dark Hills Media. And they're all the black and white thumbnails. The very first episode is Flinderation Tunnel. I was not as good as of an editor and storyteller as I've grown to be, but
Right.
I had a single camera at the time. I thought it was out. It must be put away in its case. So I had my single camera out, and I walked up to the tunnel, and I'm with Zach, and we walk up, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is a long tunnel." And Zach says, "Oh, look, there's still icicles." And after he said icicles, a female disembodied voice, clear as day, says, "Tunnels bring light." Clear as day. Like captured on not like just the camera. I didn't have an external mic on it at all. It was just the camera mic, and tunnels bring light came through, and we didn't. I didn't hear this until we were at our hotel room in Point Pleasant, because I wanted to review the footage. We spent maybe like 45 minutes there, and I was like, we had just ate dinner. We were just chilling in the hotel, waiting for it to get dark and everything. And I was like, Zach, there's definitely something here. And later I found out it said this woman said tunnels bring light. Then we heard like other things. There's other disembodied voices captured. We go into the tunnel and like we get about halfway into the tunnel. I set the camera up on a tripod. We're doing like a spirit box session, and then we hear something coming from like down at the entrance of the tunnel where we just were. Mind you, this is like early mid March, and I think it was March 11th. So it's still cold as hell outside.
Yeah.
We start hearing what sounds like rocks being like clanking together, and then it gets louder, and like we're like, what is this? Like there's no one at the end of the tunnel, and it starts getting louder, and so we run out to the end of the tunnel. There's no one there. And do you know what Tommy knockers are?
Yeah,
they're like a lot of miners, especially like in the early days of mining, they would encounter strange beings and creatures, and they were called Tommy knockers. And I think with how old that tunnel is, it's a B&O railroad tunnel. With how old that tunnel is and where it's at, I think whatever me and Zach were experiencing, especially with the rocks, honestly, Chris, it's like one of the craziest things. If you go and you find that episode and you scrub towards the end and you find the section of the video where it says my camera shut off, because it's a blank screen with text on it. It says my camera shut off. It's not supposed to. Right after that, you can hear the rocks clanking together and it gets louder. And then that's when we go out to the end of the tunnel and nothing's there. Truly one of the weirdest experiences there.
Wow. That's crazy.
They have before Bobby Mackey's. It happened that way too. Not just demons, but spirit to Heyman House was the same. When I'm on my way to locations, spirits will talk to me. I haven't got to go to the Heyman House or Bobby Mackey's yet. I feel like Bobby Mackey's is a little bit overplayed ever since Ghost Adventures made it famous back like when Ghost Adventures was like first starting.
Right.
The Heyman House is pretty new onto the paranormal scene, so I'd really like to get down there and check that out.
I think I've seen one on that. That one's down in Braxton County, right? Is that? Am I right?
It's in Sutton.
Sutton, yeah. Sutton.
Yeah, I really want to get down there. Again, it's one of the more affordable locations out there right now. Hopefully, we can, grow the YouTube channel a little bit more, get some funding, because I spent way too much money this year on filming episodes. It's an expensive hobby, my dad calls it, and I was like, I'd like to make it a career if we can get there.
Right. Like at Belfry Middle School, 2 people have committed suicide back when it was high school, and I would be alone at certain spots, and I hear knocks and footsteps when I would be completely alone. That's creepy.
Wow. That's weird.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Amber.
Yeah,
Do you have a YouTube channel?
yeah. It's Amber's Paraworld.
Okay. We'll be sure to subscribe. We'll check you out. You said something I saw earlier. You said something about a collab. Maybe we can make that happen.
Yeah, because she I just had her on the show not long ago, well, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
she's got some crazy stuff too. I believe she was just at the Moundsville Penitentiary.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Again, bucket list location.
is it expensive up there too?
It's a little over 1,000 for the night.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't realize they charge you guys that much to do an investigation. That's crazy.
I told you when the forehead hits the mic. It's like I said, my dad calls it an expensive hobby. I would love to turn it into like a career, but I have so much to do. Like I mentioned earlier, like client work and things
Right.
like that. And now with the tours, um, I don't know how many people are watching, but Morgantown Mystery Tours, if you want to come take one, mountaineerexcursions.com. I'm hosting the ghost tours. We're officially booking the ghost tours July 28th till October 31st of this year. It's about 2 hours long. Learn about some haunted history. We'll use some paranormal gear at a certain spot on the tour. You get a free beverage and some food samples at Gibby's, which is in downtown Morgantown. It's gonna be a good time. We have our official opening. We have our soft open on the 23rd, but official tour bookings start on the 28th of July. So be on the
Yeah.
lookout for that. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys was doing that until you just told me there at the beginning of the show. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. The guy who approached me about it, it happened like 2 months ago, and it happened out of the blue. I was recommended. Um, it was I was recommended to my business partner by a mutual friend, and it just kind of snowballed, and it happened a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. So I had to curate this entire tour over the last like couple of months,
Yeah.
and it's honestly it's gonna be so cool. Chris, you should come to the soft open, man. I'll send you.
Dude, if I could walk around, I would, but I'm where I can't walk around very far. I can't walk very far at all. So.
Uh,
Because I
well,
was thinking, I was like, man, that would be awesome. You know what I mean? To go to one of them haunted locations. You guys come down and check it out.
maybe we'll figure out a way to do like a private live stream because we don't want to give the entire tour away, you
Right,
know.
right.
But maybe we can work something out.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can meet for lunch or coffee or something one day, and we can like I can just tell you all the stories and locations and everything.
Oh man, you've got some good stuff like that underground or that bar that's under something in Morgantown.
Oh, the Met.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
I
Boulevard.
never heard of that until
Oh man,
I
that
seen your
thing's
show. I was like, I didn't know they had a place like that in Morgantown.
oh there's a ton of stuff. There's a ton of stuff that, like I said, it doesn't come to light.
Hmm. Well, you know what? I worked in Morgantown a lot. Uh, and I remember going in. I think it's where Wiley meets High Street, or what
Yeah.
is that? Yeah. Remember the old Masonic building there?
Oh yes, the apartment building now.
We was in there before as they was remodeling it. We was doing electrical work. You want to talk about a creepy place? That place gave me bad vibes the whole time we was there, man.
Well, the Masons, you have to be welcome into that group.
All
You know.
right. Yeah, they sold it and made a big apartments out of it.
Yeah,
And,
man.
and it
I
was still like all that fancy woodwork and stuff was up close to the ceilings and stuff. And the floor, you could see through the floors.
yeah, those
Yeah.
bastards, they didn't fucking save anything. Uh, do you mind if I like take a quick break? Like just
Yeah, go
couple
ahead.
minutes? All
Go ahead.
right. I just want to make sure that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I'll just turn your camera off or whatever.
All right.
Yeah, everybody. I really didn't realize how haunted Morgantown and the surrounding area was until I started watching uh, Spirit World Paranormal, especially up, Morgantown. It's crazy. I'm just getting messages here. Yeah, Amber. Hopefully, you guys can, Danny and them can hook up, and maybe you guys can do some investigations together. Once again, if you guys want to see all the stuff he's got out, go to his YouTube channel, Spirit Walk Paranormal. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff on there. It's awesome. The West Virginia co-ed thing it's crazy. Yeah, the cat is crying, and I don't know what he's crying about. He's a big baby, Amber.
All right, buddy. Sorry about that.
Hey, that's okay. I understand.
Nature called real quick, so.
I hear you. I should have told you. Just let me know. We'll take a break.
No, it's all right, man. I just really had to use the bathroom.
Coachella.
So, one of the things that we recently started doing on investigations, I feel like this would be like a cool spot to do this. We started taking Polaroids. Yeah, I recently bought this Polaroid camera for $25 at a thrift store.
Wow, it looks like brand new.
It's in really good shape. Like, whoever owned this before did a fantastic job keeping. And what's even crazier, man, it actually has this is a close up one. So there's actually, I don't know if you can see it moving in front of the lens there.
Okay, I see where your finger is. Yeah,
it's a magnifying, so you can actually zoom in.
Whoa!
Which I've never seen on a Polaroid before.
That is like a fancy one there. I've never seen one like that. My mom and them had them when I was a little kid.
I think that's about 25 years old or so.
Oh yeah.
So
you think it's going to make a difference? Like it's going to pick up some things that your digital don't pick up?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really do. We took it for a test run down at Old Hospital on College Hill. So I like tangible things. Like digital photography is fun. I like digital. I've been shooting a lot of film this year aside from Polaroid because I'm trying to up my photography skills and actually do film photography too. But Polaroids, they're just so, I don't know. There's something about just like having something instant and tangible, but not like, oh, I'm taking a cell phone photo or a camera photo.
Right.
But we have some photos. Some of them are featured in our investigation. I have the 3 investigation photos here, but I also have 3 photos that didn't make it in. But just like going down to Old Hospital on College Hill and just taking some photos. There's that one of the hospital. There's this one of me with my camera gear. I know it's kind of hard to see. Probably no one's going to be able to see it. But there's like me holding my camera gear outside.
That's awesome. I can see it. Yeah, I can see you standing there in front of the building. Yeah.
This one of Marcus turned out a lot better. Marcus is outside of Old Hospital there. And then we have some of our investigation photos. The first one, I took a picture of Marcus. Nothing, unfortunately, appeared in his photo or my photo or the last photo that we took. But these are the photos. If you watch our most recent investigation of Old Hospital on College Hill, this is the Mose Blackburn window where Mose shot and killed a police officer and allegedly either jumped out of the window or was thrown out of the window. His death certificate is actually what's in the frame behind me.
I can see like something above your head there, a little plaque or something like that.
Yeah, that's his death certificate, and that's the window that he went out of in some way. So, it's very cool, man. I love using not just paranormal gear, but like just everyday gear, like taking the Polaroid out there and just taking some shots to see if anything happens while we're out there.
Yeah, I've seen on some of them. You guys use them little light up balls that light up.
Yeah, the cat balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cat balls are cool. We just started doing the cat balls. Carson, thanks for stopping by, Carson. Really
Yeah,
appreciate you.
he's a good guy. Yeah, he's well versed in, you know what I mean, the
Yeah,
paranormal. And
I wish I could see the chat, man. Oh wait, I had to click comments. Jesus, Danny,
oh,
figure it
I'm
out.
sorry, I never thought
I was over in private chat.
I'm sorry. I never even used the private chat part.
Yeah, man. I was like, where in the hell are all these people coming from? Okay, just disclaimer, y'all. This is my first time using StreamYard, so now I know
Right?
I'm a Twitch guy.
See, I don't know. I was wanting to put some of my shows on Twitch, but I don't know how you do it. So I'm like,
Apparently, my brother said that you can export the video here and
uh,
use it elsewhere.
oh, okay.
I don't know how that works.
Me neither. I'm not a computer person. I mean, I know how to do something. Like I'm finally getting like a major design, you know, for the YouTube, the thumbnail.
Hey.
It turned out pretty good, I think.
Hey, there's our little buddy from the beginning.
You know, see, Amber said you'll have to find a short. She meant short.
Short.
On
Oh,
TikTok.
on College Hill.
She said she caught a figure sliding over on the
Ooh.
floor in the basement.
Daddy, can
Oh.
I change this? I'm gonna go.
Go ahead, go in your room. Sorry.
No, you're fine, dude. Kids are cool as hell, so no worries. I'd love to take my niece, my 5-year-old niece, on an investigation. She kind of really wants to go. She like, do you ever watch Nuke's Top 5? Like,
no, I don't think I've ever seen that.
Chris, okay? When the kids go to bed, get on YouTube and look up Nuke's Top 5.
Okay.
Some of the scariest shit you will ever see is on Nuke's Top 5.
My kids love scary shit.
Okay, it might be too scary for them.
Okay.
Because this is like real people. It's not like horror movies or scary stories.
This is real stuff.
Like there's a segment on there. It's like Meanwhile over on TikTok that he does. It's really good. There's like viewers will send him footage for him to like go through and review. Also, if you're watching this, please put Spirit Walk Paranormal on Nuke's Top 5. Send them all of our stuff. Like, we really want to get featured. We've been featured on Chills, which is very similar to Nuke's Top 5. Nothing against Chills. It's just, I really love Nuke's Top 5 and would love to be featured on there. But yeah, dude, some of the scariest things I've ever seen in my entire life has happened on Nuke's Top 5.
Yeah, I've been to a few places. The Witch's Grave up above Mannington. Have you ever been up there?
Not to investigate, but I have visited.
Yeah.
Because I know that the people who own the church and the cemetery, they're kind of like, don't come on the property. You know, you're going to be disrespectful and stuff. So I've never officially investigated there, but I've definitely visited before.
Yeah, I've been up there and been in the old church, you know, that sets up. I guess they're still using it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that the church is still being used.
What do you think about it? Do you think that woman's a witch? I mean,
I'd have to try to talk to her.
Right.
The whole upside down staircase thing, where it's supposed to be stairs to heaven, but actually it's stairs. I don't know.
Yeah. See, when I was younger, that was our party spot. You know what I mean? When you're young, you go up and drink beer out in the middle of the woods. You know what I mean? And that was one of the places we go. We wouldn't go to church or nothing, but there's a road down below there.
I mean, we're still just out in the woods, just drinking.
Right. I
mean, it's West Virginia, man. Oh, I can't remember the lady who made these. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's the Flatwoods Monster engraved on this.
Oh, glass. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember I wish I could remember the lady who made these. I know she's from like Wheeling. So if you can find the woman from Wheeling who engraves the glass, She has a Mothman one, Flatwoods Monster. She does a whole bunch of different stuff. She was a super awesome lady. I met her at a like a paranormal convention here in Morgantown. Les Odell hosts it every fall. Have you ever? Did
Yeah,
you enter?
yeah, I've interviewed. Les has been on the show 4 or 5 times. Me and Les went to school together, high school together,
No kidding.
and he actually grew up in the same town as I did in his younger age. So
No shit.
I grew up in Forest States, which really I lived up the Hall of Gray's Run. But yeah, we grew up like, and I knew his, I think first wife. We went to school together. You know what I mean?
Me and Les, we're supposed to be. This is an exclusive. We're supposed to be going Sasquatch hunting here soon.
Awesome.
So yeah, so it's not just not as my dad calls it. It's not just ghost busting. Well, we delve into all sorts of the paranormal. You into aliens, Chris?
I have seen a UFO. In fact, I got it. I just with everything, and I don't. I'm not real well. I can't walk a long ways, but I need to get with Les and take him up to the farm and show him where I've seen it.
Oh,
And
I would love to go because I've seen two UFOs very very close up, and
wow,
I can talk about those two experiences if you want because
yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I said, I've had one, and it was at the house.
well you tell me yours then I'll tell you mine.
Actually, it was during deer season. It was right at
Okay,
buck season, first week of buck season. And,
what week is that?
November the 20th, somewhere around there.
Okay,
I can't remember what year it was.
okay.
There's video of it, but me and the neighbors not getting along good, and they had the tape and a bunch of stuff went on. So I wish I could get the videotape. It was I think he had a Sony. Uh, what was that? The Sony that takes the wee little cassette tapes, the wee
Yeah.
little VCR. He had one of them.
Oh, the
And
high eight.
I stood in the back of the truck and videotaped. We watched this thing like we followed it down the road. It was awesome, and it was round. It was a round, white, bright white light, and I've never seen nothing move this fast in my life. I happened to look out the door of the trailer, look to see if there's any deer out there, at night, so I'd know where to go the next morning. And I just happened to look above my neighbor's house up on the ridge, and there was this light, and it just started moving around crazy. It's like, what the hell? So I called him, and he like jumped into. He went outside his porch, and he could see it too. He come and got me, and we went and filmed it.
No kidding.
I mean, I've never seen nothing move that fast. And another thing, above his house there was a graveyard too. There,
No kidding.
an old graveyard. Yeah.
That's insane, man. It kind of reminds me of my my first paranormal, like not paranormal encounter, my first UFO encounter.
Right.
So it was November of 2014, and I want to say it was mid-November, about the same time, about
Right.
deer week or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was working for a call center at the time. I was 23, 24. I was a little bit younger. It was probably like 8. Yeah, it was like 8
Damn,
years ago.
I'm thinking I was about the same age when I seen mom, but I'm older. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I was on my way home from work, and I was dealing with like banking information and everything, so I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
be on my phone. So my phone was like fairly charged up. And I'm on my way home from work, and I've lived in that same spot, that same street for years. I grew up there, I was raised there, I had a house there. Like I lived across the street from my dad.
Uh-huh.
And I was on my way home from work, and I'm sure you've experienced this thing. If you live in an area for an extended period of time, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
notice something's new, something's different.
Yeah, because you see the same thing every day, in and out.
every single day. And I saw this for like 24 years of my life. And I was driving home and I look up and I'm like, is that a new cell phone tower up there? Because there was like this like big bright light and this was, it's November, so it gets dark really early. And I got off of work around like 5:30. So it might have been like quarter till 6 that I'm turning on the road back to my house. I live a few miles outside of town.
Yeah, yeah.
And I turn on the road and I'm looking up and I was like, this is so weird, man. And there's a pull off for school buses in this like one, I don't want to call it like neighborhood. It's kind of like the entry to like a holler.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I pull off the side of the road and I look up, and Chris, I swear on my life, there's this black triangle with 3 lights on it, one at each point of this UFO. It's a black triangle UFO. And I'm looking up and I'm staring at this thing, and I get out of my car and I take my cell phone out of my pocket and I go to open it up and take a picture of it. My cell phone dies. Like instantly, will not turn back on.
Oh, wow.
And I keep looking at this thing and I'm like trying to like hard reset my phone. I'm trying to do everything to get it back on. Nothing. While that's happening, I notice my car starts sounding funny, like it's puttering, like trying to stay alive.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And so my headlights start going from bright to dim and bright to dim, like my car battery is dying.
Oh man.
So I'm freaking out. And I look like the craziest person, just pointing up to the sky. Like people are honking their horns at me, like, what's this fucking idiot doing? Just like going by. So I'm just out on this like pull off, and like I'm pointing and no one's stopping, no one's looking at anything. Right. And I just look like a crazy person just standing out there. So I'm looking up and cell phone's not turning back on. I can't get a picture of this thing. In my car, it sounds like it's dying. So I hop back in my car, but I'm looking and my eyes are wide open. Like I can't take my eyes off this thing. Like I'm amazed at what I'm seeing. And so the back 2 lights shut off at the same time. And then the front light turns off. And then this thing, it wasn't making a sound the entire time. It was just hovering, not making a single sound. It turns at a perfect 45-degree angle. Like there was no like lag in it. It went from this to 45, like perfect degree turn. And then it zooted off over in the distance to Morgantown.
That's crazy.
My car started working. My cell phone turned back on after it was gone. And I rushed home, got out of my car, went into my house. I locked my doors, and I did not come out of my house for like 3 days. I called off work. I was freaked out, man. I was like, I said, they're coming for me.
Right.
And so that was my first encounter with the Black Triangle UFO. I'm not saying it's aliens. Maybe it's government. Who knows? But maybe it is aliens. So fast forward to 2018. It's 4 years later. Yeah. I'm investigating multiple locations. I've done Flinderation Tunnel, Point Pleasant, the Oddfellows Lodge in Clarksburg. Spirit Walk is thriving. We're doing our thing, and I get an email, and this is 2 years before the Mount Morris case. I get an email from a lady down around the Clarksburg area, like just before. Well, it was like before Bridgeport. I'm not going to say who it is or where it was.
Right, I understand, yeah.
But it's just before Bridgeport, and she's like, hey, I've reached out to a couple people, and, no one's really wanted to come check this out. Would you want to come investigate my house? I think there's poltergeist activity. She sent me a video of her infant child being yanked off the couch by an unseen force. And I was like, I'm in. I was like, you had me at the video. So
Right.
we plan this investigation, and we go down, we investigate the house. Things are coming through the spirit box. There's a lot of activity happening in the house, and um, we do like a sage smudge because at the time I didn't know about all the other things. I just knew about sage, and so like I do this
Yeah.
sage smudging, and things are coming through, and some very direct responses are coming through the spirit box while we're saging the house because we did the same thing at the same time. Spirit box, sage, same time. So after a few hours of being there, um, I'm like, okay, we're gonna end the investigation, and my fiance, now wife at the time, I
Hmm.
texted her and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know we're wrapping up and we're gonna be heading out. Got out to my car, gave her a quick call, tell her how it went, and I was like, I'll tell you the rest when we get home. So it's
Hmm.
me and my buddy Zach, who had been filming the show with me since the season 1, episode 1, Flinderation Tunnel.
Hmm.
So we're in my car. We leave the housing complex, and then we turn on to the main road. Well, one of the main roads that leads to the interstate. And I'm looking up in the sky again, and I see 3 white lights. They're kind of smushed together, so it looks like a big one because it was kind of a little bit further away. But I was like, well, this is strange and familiar. And so we're driving up to this thing, and the closer we get, and this time I have someone with me. I have a witness with me. And I'm driving up to this thing, and I'm like, shit, this is it. This is the same thing I saw 4 years ago. And so we pull off, just like I did before. I pulled off into this like construction how like I don't know. It was some type of big building with a big parking lot, and like there's like a little driveway to get down in there. So
Yeah.
I pull into the driveway, and lo and behold, there's this black triangle UFO. It's blocking out all of the night sky except the 3 lights, and you can see stars and stuff because it's not exactly night yet. It's like it's blue hour, and so
Yeah.
we can still see stuff. And there's a couple stars in the sky, but there's this prominent black triangle, light in the front, 2 lights on the corners, and I'm like, Zach, I was like, bro, this is what I've been telling you about for the past 4 years, man. I was like, this is what I saw. And he's freaking out. And
Yeah.
and so I take my phone and I go to record a video. Unknowingly, I took one photo, unfortunately. I still have the photo, but if you zoom in, you can see where there's a black triangle and then there's the 3 lights. It's a crappy like iPhone 5 photo.
Mhm.
I wish I would have got the video of it. But I have one photo from it, and you can clearly see this black triangle with 3 lights. Um, and just as before, the 2 back lights go off, the front light goes off. It does a perfect 45-degree angle, no noise, and it starts heading north towards Morgantown. And I start chasing this thing on the back
Mhm.
roads. I can't catch up to it. After about 4 miles, like this thing is just
Gone.
gone. And so that was my second encounter with a black triangle UFO, and I haven't had an encounter since that I know
Wow.
of.
Right. That's great. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, I see a
You got
question
it.
down there.
Yeah, Amber's got a question.
Uh,
Danny, do
I
you have? Go
I
ahead.
don't I don't I kind of wish I did. The indigenous people and Native Americans, their uh history and the lore and their beliefs have always interested, like it's always been a big interest of mine. I wish I had family members that were a part of some sort of tribe, um, because in all honesty, out of any type of quote unquote religion, the Native Americans, they're very spiritual and earth. Uh, I don't know the correct words to say here.
Grounded more than Mother Nature, I would say. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they are very, I guess, elemental
Mhm.
people as opposed to spirit, not even spiritualism, but like religion in general. I wish I did have that connection, but I just hope that they are guiding me in some way because I feel very connected to the earth. And oh wow, wow, I'm just now reading that. That's crazy.
Yeah, she can like she's like a I don't know what they call it, a medium.
Medium sensitive
Yeah,
empath.
she sees things. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. You know, a place I always thought would probably be a good place to go. Is you've heard of the Monongahela disaster?
That's a big thing. So on my wife's side
No.
of the family, her dad,
Uh huh.
he has a disabled brother. His
Uh
name's
huh.
Colin, and he loves he's very historical. He l- talks about Monongah mine disaster all the time.
Yeah, I just wonder if you pick up anything. I don't even know where it's at. I mean, I grew up close to Monongah, but I never did know exactly where the mine's at or nothing. But
I'll have to have her take me out there sometime because like one, I don't know, and I don't even think she knows.
yeah,
But I would love to do some experiments out there. You know what? I've tried to get Prickett's Fort to let me in there. They won't.
they won't let you in there.
No, not to
There's got
investigate.
that's got to be something good. Can't you go to the graveyard and do an investigation there? There's a little
Y-
graveyard out there,
You can.
but will you get in trouble for
You'll get in trouble.
it? Oh, okay.
So that's exclusive content that we might release on Patreon later on this year.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I've tried to get into Prickett's Fort. I would love to. The cemetery is not necessarily public, but I mean
Right.
you can walk up and through it.
Yeah, we did as kids, when we went on tour. They take you on field trips. That was one of the
Yeah,
places we
I
always went.
definitely did it before my professional career started,
Right,
but
right.
but there is some stuff out there, and we definitely did capture a little girl laughing out there.
She
So
said Amber said she's a physical medium. Physical medium.
I'm a vertically challenged extra large. That's super cool.
Yeah, she's wanting to go to the witch's grave. She's been wanting to go there. She didn't know where it was. It's a
Which is
pretty,
great.
yeah, that's a pretty crazy place. I mean,
Yeah, I haven't been out there in years.
that's the way of me. It's been a while, but since I've been
Subscribe to
out.
the Patreon, y'all. Help support my dreams and
Right,
help me investigate more locations.
right.
We also have a PayPal you can donate to if you don't want to do a monthly subscription, but we try to post on Patreon like once a week, bring exclusive content. Please bear with me though. I have a lot going on, but we'll try to
You
bring you
sound
some exclusive content. There is some exclusive content out there. Some episode trailers that haven't been released yet. Um, some like behind the scenes stuff that doesn't really get put on to our YouTube channel. Um, and it all the funding goes towards investigation equipment and our like the fees for investigations because I'm sure most of y'all know by now it's expensive as heck. So anything helps.
Amber. She's something else. She said, "I've heard foot pics are going for a pretty penny on OnlyFans."
I mean, I have a tattooed foot. I'm not sure if you want to look at it, but it's my prettiest foot.
This sounds like you're really busy right now. Wow.
Dude, you have no idea. Like I said earlier, today's my off day, and this is well, I had two meetings and now this interview. Patreon is a subscription platform. I'm gonna answer Amber.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You can go to patreon.com and it basically helps support artists. You can even create your own Patreon for your paranormal investigations too. Um, It's where people can subscribe and get exclusive content. Like, I post videos of upcoming episodes, maybe some like behind the scenes stuff, like photos and maybe some like videos and stuff. You can even go live on Patreon for your patrons. It's just a good way for you to connect with your community um, at a more personal level, aside from like them just subscribing to your YouTube channel. It's a good way for them to support you. Just kind of it's kind of like YouTube channel members as well. We just started a YouTube channel member program, and it kind of works in the same way as channel members. But yeah, Patreon's a wonderful site. It's a great way for people to get, you know, a more personal connection and a little bit into your life more, aside from just being there for episode premieres and things like that. So like me and Marcus will just like post photos. Sometimes now what we're gonna do is like we're gonna post the Polaroids on to our Patreon before they hit the episode. So
Yeah.
if anyone sees anything, we're it's just a great way to support whoever you like on the
Right.
internet. So
Right. Yeah.
patreon.com/spiritwalk paranormal if you want to help your boys out.
Yeah. You guys got some, from what I've seen, some pretty nice equipment too. Like you got the light, the little green light, like the little tiny dots. I don't know what you call it. Yeah.
You know what? Hold on. Let me scooch over here real quick.
Okay.
And I'm back. Oh, if I don't take my light out behind me.
Yeah, I seen the thing move, your light tripod there.
Yeah, so we have some
Oh,
paranormal gear. The REM pod, loved, and just beloved by all paranormal investigators out there.
yeah.
I love
Everybody uses them, don't they?
$200 a pop, though, my guy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's just like one piece of gear, not including the cameras. Like I have two of these camera bodies, and I think they're like when they were brand new, I think they were like $1,500 a pop just for the camera body.
Wow.
And then
Sounds like a very expensive hobby. Well, you do photos and stuff too, right? You
yeah,
have your own
yeah.
business.
So yeah, I have my business, which it kind of helps facilitate everything. There's also like uh, digital snapshot cameras. A lot of people online sell full spectrum digital snapshot cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I go to like the Restore or like Goodwills or eBay, and I try to find like snapshot cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how whenever I don't know if it's really going to show here because I don't have the infrared on. Um, so I actually modified digital snapshot cameras to be
Mm-hmm.
full spectrum cameras.
Oh wow.
So there's on most like little digital snapshots, they're inside the camera in front of the camera sensor. There's a piece of pink glass, and that is a UV glass. And so if you remove that camera becomes a full spectrum camera, and you can start taking those photos where everything is just like all pink or purple.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, there's a UV sensor, UV piece of glass in front of the sensor, and if you remove that glass from the sensor, it becomes a full spectrum camera.
Wow.
Yeah, I've messed up a couple of cameras that are not usable, so get some cheapos to make sure you know what you're doing.
Right.
But I have two full spectrum cameras that I modified myself, and we use those on our investigations. And I want to get some newer ones with like a little bit more megapixels and higher quality,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can use those. Yeah, so like Patreon donations, super
That helps
chat,
you out a lot. Yeah, it helps you
yeah,
out.
yeah, it helps out tremendously because we wouldn't be able to do it without the like support of our fans.
Right.
At the end of our episodes, we always shout out our donations and our Patreon members because they literally help fund our
Yeah.
dreams. And so the more that it happens, and we don't just put you in for like one episode. We, you've supported the channel from this time. You're gonna be constantly, so on the channel with us because even if you donated one time, that literally helped our dreams. So
Yeah.
me and Marcus can't thank you enough. I know that I started this crazy adventure in 2018, but without Marcus being on the show, we wouldn't have a show. It'd just be me out there, and I don't want to do it alone. I think it's so scary out
And,
there sometimes.
I would be scared to death to go by myself. Yeah.
It gets crazy out there, man.
Yeah.
Especially like when you're in the middle of the woods sometimes, like trying to contact murdered ladies.
Yeah.
I would not go out there by myself.
No. No. No, that's for sure.
Do
Yeah.
you, Chris, do you ever go out investigating, man?
No, like I said, I've been to a few places, but not really to investigate. I've been in a house. My uncle bought a house, and he needed some painting and remodeling done. Well, I knew a guy shot himself in the house,
Oh, wow.
but when I went upstairs to, look it over and see what all I needed to get,
Right.
yeah, his brains was on the wall still. They didn't,
What?
they didn't clean it up.
Oh, that's
They threw the bed
nasty.
away, but yeah, and so I tried to paint it the best I could, but it just kept coming through. Like I don't care how
That's
much paint you put in it, and it scared me so bad. I like I was there probably for a week or so, and it just felt like someone was watching me the whole time, and every little noise just like freaked me out, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
yeah. A couple of years ago, I had some friends that wanted me to remodel their bathroom, and I had just got done remodeling the house that I was living in. And so like everything was like fresh in my mind. Like I was like, I can plumb this entire bathroom. I can do the drywall. I can do everything. So they wanted me they wanted me to come through and like help them out. And
Yeah.
you know, the former owner of the house passed away in the house. And I would go over to their place. They would like leave a key for me, and I would go
Hmm.
in, and like, I'd get weird vibes. And like the lady didn't die violently or anything. It was just like natural causes. But it always felt like there was like this lady just constantly judging me. Like, what was I doing in her house?
Right.
And then I'd be like remodeling the bathroom, and like I'd hear something out in the kitchen, and I'd walk out there, and like, I don't know, like a knife or like maybe like some letters, like some envelopes would just like be on the floor. And I'd be like, well, that wasn't freaking there 10 minutes
Hmm.
ago. I was like, this lady does not want me in their house.
Right.
Dude, it's just like even doing normal stuff, just trying to help your friends out. Like spooky things happen.
Right. West Virginia is we're in the oldest mountain range there is, besides, I think someone said Scotland. Well, it was part of Scotland at one time, supposedly, and
Yeah, man. The
this mountain
Appalachian
range.
Mountains. Yeah, we have thousands of caves just running underneath.
Yeah, I remember going in a cave when I was little.
Where was that at?
Worthington.
Oh, really? There's a cave out there?
Yeah, it's been so long. I was young, like probably I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 when we went up there. A bunch of us boys walked up there, just out playing in the woods.
Right.
There was a cave, and I went in there a little ways, but then the bats, freaked me out, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah. I hate bats. I hate
Yeah.
bats so much.
I do too. It's one thing I do not like is a bat.
We were at Greene County Historical Society around this time last year, and on the second floor women's ward, we had investigated there earlier in the night, and like we left the REM pod and our infrared camera up.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, man, there's a lot of activity going on up there. Like, let's go back up there. And so like we started walking back up, and Marcus was like leading us up, and he like came back down the stairs, and he was like, there's a freaking bat up there. I was like, oh, what? And so he signed his flashlight, and our friend Casey, who was investigating with us, was like, don't do that. They'll swoop down at lights.
Yes,
And we
they
were like,
will. Yeah.
and I was like, all right, so we're not investigating up on. Oh, dang it, Chris! I told you, man.
It's got you twice already.
It
I didn't
happens on
realize.
it happens on Twitch so much. We've been
Right.
going at this for about a solid.
Yeah, I know. I've been like, darn, we've been on here for almost 2 hours already.
I did not expect to be on here for 2
Yeah,
hours. I was like,
yeah.
oh yeah, it'll be a good hour. No, dude, we've been shooting the shiz.
Hey, that's what we do on this channel. You know, hell, a couple weeks ago we was talking about food and everything else by the time we was done.
Yeah, I mean, things happen, man. I could talk about. I literally had a conversation with a couple I met after my second meeting today. They overheard me and the owner of this building's conversation, and here I was again talking about spirits and ghosts and like their experiences, and I hung out with them for like a solid hour and a half after that meeting. It never stops. I feel like I feel like if I'm not doing like business stuff, talking about like photo shoots and video shoots,
Mm-hmm.
it's just ghosts.
Right.
That's all it is, man. And now we have the ghost tour. Now we have the Morgantown Mystery Tour.
That's gonna be awesome.
Oh, bro.
You guys
I
will
wait.
get busy. I hope you get really busy with it. I know it will.
I
There's a
hope
lot
so.
of haunted places here in Morgantown. I just don't think people know. You know.
Yeah, and on the test runs that we've done, there's been a lot of people who we've taken on the test runs that, like, at the end of the tour, they're just like, I had no idea that this town was so full of haunted history and just weird stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we talk about the co-ed murders. I mean, you've seen it on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
But for people who don't know the story, it's really exciting to hear about.
Yeah.
We talk about the disappearance of Marcia Ferber, the woman who owned the Underground Railroad, which later became 123 Pleasant Street, the music venue.
That's another one. I didn't know about that. I'm gonna have to get on there and watch all these videos.
So we don't have a video on 123.
Okay.
I did get to investigate 123 during lockdown in 2020.
Yeah.
I was granted access after, like, when things were slowly starting to come back. I was granted access because they weren't open. I'm gonna try and get in there because now I know a hell of a lot more information about Marcia than I did before. But I can send you.
Awesome.
I'll send you a link on Messenger,
Yeah.
or if anyone is listening, the podcast is called "I Was Never There." It should be available on all streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
It's done by Karen and Jamie Zellemeyer. Karen was Marcia Ferber's best friend, and Jamie is Karen's daughter. And it goes like it goes to Marcia and her upbringing, what brought her to West Virginia, running the Underground Railroad, the venue before 123 Pleasant Street. Her time there, her time as an activist, and then it talks about her disappearance, what may have caused it, and it has a lot of interviews with people who knew Marcia and her life that like came after, and they still don't know what happened to Marcia. I know some information. It's available in the podcast. I
Right.
don't.
Right.
I'm not going to ruin the story for people.
Right. Right.
But if you go and you listen to that podcast, it gets really crazy. I'm talking like international things. Like you wouldn't even think that this woman was doing stuff that she was.
Right.
It it
Oh, I'm gonna have
sound
to go
it,
check
it
that out.
sounds like a movie.
Wow.
It's nuts.
Hey, you know what I heard the other day? They're shutting down Casa de Amici's and moving.
Yeah, they're moving down to Lhasa, just like what 3 storefronts down the road.
I love Casa, man. That's a good
I
store.
I haven't had Casa in years because it's always just so damn busy.
I know they are.
Good
Yeah.
spot though.
There's
Here, Amber, take me with you. Just throw me in the trash.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of old buildings in Morgantown. Holy crap, there's a ton of them. Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you which building, but if you do some research, there's actually a Confederate jail cell in the basement of one of the buildings downtown Morgantown, and the jail cell is still there.
Oh,
There's a recently documented photo of it. It's in the basement of one of the buildings. I'm not going to tell you which one, and I'm not going to tell the viewers which one.
okay, okay.
It's a part of the tour, but there is a Confederate jail cell still there in the basement of one of the buildings, and it's on our tour.
Oh, wow. Oh, dude. You guys are going to be so busy with them tours.
I freaking hope so, man.
yeah.
Yeah, we have our soft open in 10 days on Sunday, July 23rd. We have WBOY, we have Dominion Post, we have the Daily A, we have Visit Mountaineer Country, we have Morgantown Magazine. That's our press
Wow.
that's coming. And then
Wow.
then we have city council members. We have board members at WVU coming. We have like friends and family. So it's going to be
Those would be huge.
the biggest tour that we do because we're like once we start officially booking the tours for the public, it's a max amount of 20. We
Yeah.
can't do we really can't do any more than 20 for some of the places because some of the locations are on like the sidewalk. So we
Yeah.
can't have
Yeah.
like 40 some people on a busy sidewalk, But
Yes.
this is gonna be the biggest tour that we do, and hopefully the press coverage and the articles written up all say good things about us because I've been working really really hard at curating the tour, memorizing the script, and
Yeah.
and breaking out. This is an exclusive for the pod here. I There is a stop where we break out and do a paranormal investigation on a stop in the tour.
Wow.
So the location that we've had an activity happen every single time that we went there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm really, really excited for people to come check the tour out, and hopefully things happen for us.
Are you going to post anything on Facebook or anything about this?
About the tours?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. If
Because I'll
you
share them on my Facebook group page and other pages. That way,
Yeah, I can send you the link to the website. The website's live. And tour booking is available right
Okay.
now. So, but the official tours, July 28th and on till October 31st. You can anyone can book those dates right now. So that those are available. I don't know if anyone's just joining or if they haven't heard already, but the tours are about 2 hours long. We have a food and beverage sampler midway through the tour, plus a mini paranormal investigation, and you get to learn all about the haunting histories of Morgantown.
Man, Danny, that's going to be awesome.
I'm really excited, Chris. Like I'm so pumped. I've been talking about doing something like this for a few years, and then out of nowhere, I get this DM on Instagram from a buddy of mine, and he was like, "Hey, I have a guy who wants to bring tourism to town. I just wanted to let you know he's going to be contacting you." So ever
Yeah,
since ever since it's been go go go. I haven't stopped, and I
that's
actually
awesome.
I actually have to continue the script because the co-investigator of Spirit Walk, Marcus,
Uh huh.
he's going to be the tour guide for when I can't do because I have other business things to do.
Right,
So
right.
Marcus, if it's not me, it's mainly going to be me. But if I'm not there, it's going to be Marcus, and Marcus is an excellent storyteller as well. So
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, he is. He's good talker. Yeah,
and dude, I love the way he investigates. He's such just like a sweet, down to earth guy.
he's
Like
real quiet. He seems quiet. You know what I mean? Like
he's a little quiet. It's really weird. So whenever I started Spirit Walk, like officially, like I had like a name and like what I wanted to do and everything.
mm,
I was actually working with Marcus. We used to work at PacSun in the mall at in the Morgantown Mall.
mm,
And so Marcus was like always like a big supporter. He'd like make sure I had days off to go and investigate and things like that. And then in 2020, like he had been on a couple investigations before, but in 2020, he came out with me, and I was like, "All right, man, I can't do this without you." So we just been bros
ever since then.
investigating ever since. Yeah, so it's been
Yeah.
really fun these past few years, just like working together, and he's honestly like one of my best friends, even like before work. Yeah, he's just always been like a really really cool dude, and um, he is a little soft spoken. But like I said, he's just like a really good storyteller,
Mm.
and he's and I think that's why our channel. I, I'm not complaining at the size of our channel. I'm very thankful that we have
Mm.
like the 4,700 some odd subscribers.
Yeah.
Um, because if you would have told me a couple of years ago I would have 4,700 subscribers, I would have been like, "There's no way." Um, it just really really makes me happy to be in a position that we are. Um, do I wish that we had more subscribers? Of course, everyone would
Oh
love
yeah, everybody wants more.
more
Yeah.
subscribers, but it's just like we're very thankful for where we're at right now. When we get to a point where we can do weekly investigations and have episodes come out more frequently, I would love to get to that point. It's just my time and energy is multifaceted and it's just in different places at the moment. But the more that the channel grows, hopefully we can get to that point. And the more that me and Marcus investigate together, we don't over dramatize things.
Yeah, I noticed
Uh,
that. You guys don't be like. You guys don't get like freaked out. You know, some people get like overexcited. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Like Zach Baggins.
Uh, there's a ton of YouTube channels out there, and what really grinds my gears, and I mean, feel free, someone save this clip right here, like repost it somewhere. Not everything's a freaking demon. Like
Right. Yeah.
every freaking YouTube channel out there is like demonic activity caught in so and so. The night a demon attacked us.
Yeah.
We're not out here for clickbait and views. We're trying to present actual
Data.
evidence
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Evidence. Yeah.
findings, and it's these other channels that are getting attention because it's clickbait to a younger audience.
Yeah.
We're not here for clickbait. We're here to present actual findings of the paranormal, of the afterlife. And it's those channels out there using like clickbait titles like Demon did this, Demon blah 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 that, and using uh intriguing thumbnails to where there's like a red arrow in the background that points to like a demony looking shadow figure in the window of a building, and I call them poop faces, where every investigator in the in the thumbnails is just like, it what? Just make a normal face.
Yeah.
Just make a normal face. Like me and Marcus, like the most that me and Marcus do are
Right.
like just like, oh yeah, something creepy over there.
Yeah.
But no, there's these other investigators that are like, Home Alone. Like, what are you doing? Me and Marcus have been on plenty of investigations, and even when we did the Mount Morris Mystery House series, all of those thumbnails look the same.
Hmm.
The only thing that's different about season 1 and season 2, the font is pretty much still the same. We changed the titles, but we didn't use our faces in any of the thumbnails.
Mhm.
Legit investigation, legit findings. And what a lot of these people are doing nowadays is they're over dramatizing. They're doing it for views, and
Mhm.
in my personal opinion, they're gonna burn out. They're not like they're not gonna be here for the long haul as investigators
Yeah.
because their stuff, it's entertainment. They're like the crappy ghost adventures of YouTube.
Well, it's even in the cryptid world. You know what I mean? It's getting to the point where it's getting kind of out of control. Some of these.
The night a Bigfoot attacked us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't capture a Bigfoot on camera.
Yeah.
Like show me you going out walking in the woods and randomly coming across a footprint where you cast it, and then investigate and interview the people in that area.
Yeah.
That's the investigating that I want, not claims of a Bigfoot being there, and then you go out in the woods, and then like you get scared because a deer walked on a tree branch.
Yeah.
Chris, I see
Yeah.
that there's a red battery light.
I seen it. I was going to say something to you about that. Yeah. It looks like you're about out of time.
I feel like I'm about out of time, buddy.
Yeah. I hear you. I really appreciate you coming on, Danny.
Oh no,
I
this was
really do.
this was an absolute blast. If you want me on any other time in the future,
Hey, maybe
please
we can
let me
get
know.
maybe we can get me, you, and Les. Hell, maybe we can get Amber to come on. We'll all do a thing on here one day. That's it.
I would love it. It would be absolutely amazing. Amber, I'm definitely gonna check out your YouTube channel. Um, Chris, thank you so much again for having me on. This was a absolute pleasure. I can't wait for the next time.
Yeah. Oh, we'll do it again because there's a lot of you got. I know we ain't covered a lot of stuff that
Oh
we.
no, dude, this is 2 hours. I could tell you years. I could tell you
Right.
years of stuff.
Right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. And
Yeah,
guys,
anytime.
go check out Spirit World Paranormal on YouTube. I'm sure he's got a lot of the stuff he's going to be doing. Will you be posting that on your YouTube channel, like the whole tours and everything?
Yeah, if you guys are interested in the Morgantown mystery tours that we're doing, you can find them on our community tab on our YouTube channel. You
Okay.
can also go to our Facebook page, Spirit Walk Paranormal. We'll also be posting them there as well. And if you want to book a tour, it's mountaineerexcursions.com.
Okay.
You can find all the links on Spirit Walk and everything like that. So, be sure to follow us on Instagram. You can follow my personal accounts on Instagram, Facebook, what have you. Um, we'll be able to send you a link to whatever you need. So you can check us
Yeah,
out on.
yeah. You can go ahead and send me them links, and I'll post them in my Facebook group and stuff, and that way it might help you out.
Dude, I appreciate it.
Come,
Yeah,
if you come from out of town or something.
whenever we hop off here, I'll go ahead and I'll send you a Facebook message from the SWP page, and I'll send you
Okay,
all the links.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll post it for you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Hey, I thank you for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. This was, like I said, it was an absolute blast, and I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we definitely got to get something together, me, you, Les, and get Amber on here. Because, I mean, I know you guys are all paranormal. Les is into the paranormal, too, and the Bigfoot, and so and
Yeah,
Amber. So,
I can't wait to learn from Les. He, like, I was attacked by a squatch when I was in like fourth grade, but that's a story for another time.
yeah, we'll have to do that one, man.
So we'll have to do it. We'll have to do it when Les comes on.
Right, right. Well, everybody, we're going to say goodnight. His battery's about ready to die, and
Yeah, she's
this
blinking.
right. And this Saturday, don't forget, I got Texas Front Porch on, and then the next one will be let's see, Saturday's Tex, and then Thursday night, the following Thursday, I got Dennis Carroll on, and we're going to be talking the Third Reich, and the occult. So,
That sounds hella cool.
oh, Dennis, man, he's in the paranormal. He's an older guy. He's been doing it for like 30 some years. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, I love it.
And he's into the demonology and all that stuff. Yeah. He
Well,
was
hell
my
yeah,
first
man.
guest. You ought to go back and listen to some of the stuff he says. It's awesome.
I definitely will. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah. Well, good night, everybody.
Hey, thanks for having me, Chris. I really appreciate it. Thanks everyone for coming in and listening to me talk about ghosts and aliens and demons and everything
Right.
else.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.